afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Who is ready to learn about learning? We have myself, Emily from DQM, and our guest speaker, Dr. Gina Anderson from Luma Learning here today. Gina will be talking about maximizing video learning for retention. We have a great partnership with Luma Learning. They will be an integrated partner with our DQM software. So we're very excited to have them on our webinar this month. So I'll go ahead and let Gina take over as she is the expert on this topic.
Well, thank you, Emily. I really appreciate being here today and presenting to you all. And I'm going to focus specifically on videos today. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with videos, but we're going to give you some tips on how to maximize if you are using the video medium in your learning today. And so we're going to go through some specific questions. So I appreciate you all coming and spending time with me. And there will be opportunities at the end to ask questions. You can post them and we'll make sure we cover them. And so what I want to do is make this interactive. And so it's not very passive and you're just listening to me. You can participate. So if you have your phone, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to put it in the chat. For any of you that want to click on the link and join me in my Mentimeter of room, because we're going to have some poll questions and so forth. So what we're going to cover today is I'm going to review with you the best way to leverage video medium. And again, content we know doesn't change behavior, but content is something that we leverage to help facilitate information and learning. And so we're going to give you some ideas and best practices of if you are going to use video, what to do with that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you're in Mentimeter, I'm going to go ahead and present the first question. So for those of you that are on the call today, those of you who are virtual, go ahead and answer the first question of how many of you actually use the video medium for training. And it looks like 100% so far. 2 of you have answered 100%, 3 of you, everyone on the call. So awesome. So this is excellent to see that everyone is using video, and we can kind of help you think through the best ways of leveraging that. The next question I have, since you all 5 of you use videos, the next question I have is, how would you describe your videos? So go ahead and use words, and how would you describe them today? Like, what are they like? What are the videos like that you're using? You can go ahead and type words. I've seen some individuals, when I've said this, say they're short. That's good. That's a good sign if they're short. They have, educational, upbeat. I saw some from one of our partners this morning that were kind of fun and funny. I love that. They definitely have to be short, within 8.5 seconds. So I've been talking longer in 8.5 seconds, your mind starts to wander. And in fact, when we look at this under MRI and technology scans, and we look at where your mind is going, you could be thinking about maybe the next meeting you have this afternoon. You could be thinking about what you're going to have for lunch, or what you ate for lunch, what you're going to do tonight. So it's very important, if you're doing passive types of learning, and video is just that you use strategies that can keep attention and help facilitate authentic learning. So I love these. Positive. Oh my goodness, whoever put positive made my day. I love that they're positive and they're upbeat. Fantastic. So how many of you, what do you think? Do the drivers or your learners like the video? So you could use videos in any type of learner, not just drivers. Do they like them? You're not sure, or they don't like them? So I was on a call last week, and the folks were all from Luma, and they all said they liked them because they already knew the principles of doing that. And if you're not sure and you don't know if they like them or not, it's important to obviously ask. We did a research study back in I want to say it was 2019 or 2020, about the video medium specifically. And what we found is, obviously, if the videos are not authentic, meaning directly applicable to either a skill that they have to learn or information that they have to understand, that they would prefer not to have it in video medium. So, and that's something I focus my doctoral research on too, is different types of mediums of content and preferences for learning. So if you're not sure, definitely survey. In Luma, there's a 5-star rating. We know at the end of every single learning nugget what people think about it. And honestly, the drivers, they're just going to tell you. They're going to flat out tell you. So it's important to know if they like it, because the first step of learning obviously is to get someone's attention, and then you have to keep it. If they don't know if they like it or not, then you're kind of at the situation where you don't know if they're really engaging. So how many of you do any kind of behavioral analysis down the line to see if what the mediums you're doing is actually changing how they behave, or if they can remember and apply the information that you're providing in the videos? So are you sure that the videos that you're doing, 100% of you right now are using videos, you're not sure if they like them, do they remember the information? And so that's key. And one of the things that we're doing at Luma specifically is we're doing individualized, differentiated learning. So we can actually tie the content type to performance and behavior. And that, to me, I'm super excited about, to be able to tell what type of interaction mode, whether it's learner to learner, learner to self, learner to content, this is learner to video, um, or learner to machine, has the biggest impact. If we're not sure what we're doing is changing behaviors or influencing behaviors, the question that I pose as a learning scientist, why are we doing it? And so it's really important to be thoughtful about, just because it's easy to create video, it's just as easy to create immersive learning. It's just as easy to do other types of instruction for content to best support cognitive science. So we're not sure if the videos actually are helping with content retention. So today, I'm going to actually give you scientific evidence and information, if you are going to do video, what you should do when you create them. And so we're going to do that. So let's go ahead, and thank you for participating. That was a lot of fun. When we asked drivers in our research, when we looked at the videos that they were being presented, this is the information that the drivers told us. They said, and we're like, do you like these videos? Would you prefer learn with the videos? They said they're not relevant to them, so they weren't authentic. They try to be funny, but they're not. They're very dated. These were drivers that came to us from a different provider, and the videos were not, relevant. Not, they said the 1980s or something. They don't know the people in the videos, so they didn't have a direct relationship with them. They're long and they're boring. And I can tell you from an instructional design standpoint, and I can share this research with you too, it's very hard to maintain and update videos as well. And when you ask people, why don't you include actual people? It's like, well, why would we? The person might be gone in a month. So why would we have that person in the video? So there's other considerations that you have to take into account when you're actually going to produce video as a medium to create content. So these are some of the feedback from the driver. We're ongoing, collecting information from drivers to find out what their preferences are, not only drivers, but all learners. So warehouse workers, dock workers, employees, and managers. But what I want to do is I want to show you 2 videos. I'm going to show you the first video, and I want to see, has anyone in here seen this video? You can give me a thumbs up, but we're going to do 2. This one is about selective attention. Both videos where I'm going to show you is about how you attend to information in videos. And I'm going to see if you can see what I see in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video. And I want you to pay special attention. And it's okay if you can't hear the video, because you don't really need to hear it. 16. Is that what everyone got? Did you see the gorilla? Awesome. Did you see the curtain changing color or the person leaving a game? You can watch it again. There's the there goes and the curtain is changing from red to gold. So that's an example of just a high level of selective attention that when you're focused on something, you miss other things. And I'm going to do another example because this is one that some of our clients use with their teams to show them, because when people apply for jobs at Luma and they say they're really good at multitasking, I know from a learning science perspective that that cognitively can't be true. And this is going to show you why. So this is a selective attention test, and I want you to watch it and see if you can see what it asks you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at define the Hershey kiss. We're going to do it a couple times. So you're going to try to find where the Hershey kiss ends up in the cup. So I'm going to cover it and watch and see where it goes. All right, put in the chat if you know where it went. Emily says middle. Not in the left cup. You guys got it, the middle cup. You guys are good.
I love
All
these
right,
ones.
we're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to put the Hershey kiss in again, but now we have different colors. So the colors are to distract you. We're going to put the Hershey kiss in. You're going to watch it. All right, put where you think the Hershey kiss is. Is it left? Left? All right, you got it. It's the left. Did you see the duck? Did anyone see the duck?
I did.
You saw the Emily saw the duck.
Only because
There's the
of
duck.
the last video.
There's
I
the
need
duck.
to look for something.
All right, you may have saw the duck, and that's okay. But did you see the hand vanish in the video? Look at the top of the screen. There it goes. There's an extra hand. And if you saw the hand and the duck, did you notice there were blue cups at the beginning and then green cups at the end? Philip saw the new colors. There's the new colors. There's green. Lots to pay attention to when you have videos or any kind of content. It's important that number one, you're very focused in on what you want the information them to remember, because when there's too much information, number one, you can't attend to everything cognitively, and number two, if there's too much information, it causes what we call cognitive overload. And even if you want someone to remember the information, cognitively your brain can't take in and process any more information. And so all of this all of these principles are really grounded in evidence. This isn't new. This isn't new research. This is research that's been done for decades. And selective attention is something that in videos, they're very passive. Even if you have questions inserted in the middle or clicking to go through them, it's a processing standpoint that's very passive. So your mind starts drifting, like I said earlier, really quickly. When I'm in a presentation with a lot of people in the room, it's one of those things I know. People ask me, do you get nervous? And I'm like, no, because most of the time people's minds aren't attentive in that moment. There's also limits to our working memory. So our working memory can only bring in a little bit of information at a time. And then that information has to be encoded so that we can remember it into our long-term memory. And there's all sorts of educational principles to help with encoding. And then attention is limited. You're only going to have someone's attention for a specific amount of time. Even this half hour is too much. You're going to go back to work and you're not going to remember much of what I said. So this idea of repetition is critical from an information processing standpoint to be able to take information from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. So remember, getting someone's attention, keeping it, and then reinforcing the information. That's why this principle of doing multiple interaction modes is so critical, because they could see a short video, then they have to hear it again. You think 7 plus or minus 2 is the average for information processing. So think about that. If I'm doing cargo securement and I show a video on cargo securement, that's only one impression. And it's probably what you want to show them about it. You have to show them again, 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 again. Average. I mean, that's 7 average, 7 plus or minus 2. So from a learning science standpoint, and this is grounded in evidence of how our brains process information, the first thing is novelty. So when you think about something you've learned the very first time, it's the first time you've learned it, you have very specific attention to that because it's novel. It's the first time you're going to see that. That can help with learning and processing if it's novel, but the more you see it, the more you see it, the more you see it, the less that you're going to process it because it's no longer novel. And that's something that we call, well, cognitive dissonance, but also you see this a lot with learning. If you see it and it's not novel anymore, you lose someone's attention. So you want to repeat the information in lots of different formats. So learner to learner, learner to self, learner to instructor, learner to content, and perhaps learner to machine. The 4 elements or 5 elements you can use, repetition, can help with not only information processing, but this novel idea, seeing it again in a different way, again in a different way, again in a different way. The challenge with video, it's high spend to create unless you're doing it really quickly on your phone. If it's short, and I'll give you principles of how to do it short, you can change it, but repeating the same video, can you imagine watching that video I showed you again and again and again and again and again? So thinking about different ways of presenting the information. Association is very critical. If you remember something that's in your scaffolds of your information processing, what that means is as you bring in information, that information anchors and associates to something you already know. So prior knowledge is brought into the learning experience. If you're trying to break an association, let's say a driver or learner comes to you with bad habits or bad associations, there's specific educational principles you can use to break that and break that cognitive thought pattern so that they build new identities of that information. So association is critical. And this is, again, decades and decades of research of how to train with association to help build memory patterns. And then the last one is emotional resonance. Goodness, think about something you remember that only happened one time and you never forgot it. It created so much dissonance or so much excitement in your neurotransmitters. And I do a whole presentation on neurotransmitters because honestly, if you can tap into somebody's neurotransmitters with education and training, it can make a huge impact. I think about the video for me, the 8 seconds can kill video. That's a video. I think I actually have it in this presentation. but that had such an emotional resonance with me personally. I never have my phone in the car ever again once I saw that. But that's not going to be the same way that interfaces with everyone and their neurotransmitters. Maybe it won't have that same emotional resonance with someone. So this is why it's important to do content in different ways, in different environments and different times, because in the morning you could have a different reaction to education than later in the day. There's so much research about that, that emotional resonance can be tapped in at different times. So these principles are critical if you want someone to remember and recall the information in a critical event, in a situation where they have to remember on the spot. You don't want them to have to look it up on their phone. Someone asked me, we really don't need to remember anymore, Gina, right? Because we can just look it up or ask AI. And I'm like, do you really want your emergency doctor to, like, you're on the table and have to like look something up on their phone? I don't think so. I mean, we really still need to use our minds in these ways to help us. This is the typical video format that we see out in the wild. They're long, they're linear, meaning that you have to go in a linear way and watch it. There's no lack of control. The users are forced to watch it, or they have to go through it in a linear way. Passive learning, you just sit and watch, kind of like this. You're all passive right now. So it's passive and it's generic. So there's no association in it to something that they already are familiar with or people that they're familiar with. And so these all go against the video format, hypothetically, if this is how you're creating them, against learning science, because we know you have to have information short and authentic, and give choice. And there's so many principles about it that the typical video format just does not work. So this is principles that you can take back, and if you are creating video, that you can use to help build better, more effective in terms of remembering the content when you need it. First of all, most of you said, I saw that was big on our world, that you already are creating them short. So congratulations, that's amazing. Shorter videos, this is the TikTok generations coming up. So much research about how that format has been addicting, for good and for bad. But the reality is the impact it's having on our brains and how we process information. We have to have them short. And so that's the first component. Make them short. Authentic, definitely make it something. If you're going to create, the dash cam videos are a great example. People are embedding dash cam videos in our discussion boards and having wildly successful engagement from drivers talking about these dash cam videos. That's a very active way of using videos. And there's, I could talk a lot of different ways you can use videos for active engagement. That's one example. Repeat the information on the main point. So what I mean by this is, if you have an enduring understanding or something that you're really trying to get them to remember from the video, have that point be repeated in a different format. Maybe it's a video message. Maybe send out a video message. Maybe send it out again in a shorter format of content, which we call e-nuggets, but send it out again. Not this video. Have that same principle be applied in a different format. Put it on a poster in a terminal if you have that same principle. And then again, send out the video that you created. So repeat it again and again and again and again. That's how we process information to be able to remember it. Make an emotional response. That 8 seconds that can kill video that I'm talking about, we have it in Luma, but it's freely available out in the wild. It draws at your heartstrings. I mean, it's a real, actual event that happened that impacted somebody's life. If you can draw on emotional resonance in a general sense, it can make a difference to not everyone, but most people. And then you can do a different emotional response to draw on other people's motivations. So that's really important. And the last one that's become really more attainable with AI. We're looking at opportunities for this. You see it on YouTube, but not making it so linear. Like, make it so that people can find the information in the video, because having searchable chapters that you can go to different portions of the video, make it like if you want to go back and look at something, you can find it easily and you don't have to watch it all the way from the beginning. This is adult learning. Adults want choice. So it's important to give them that if you are going to do video format. So critical. There is a white paper. If you're on the phone, you can download it. We can send it out. This is, and I actually should share, I'm going to share with Emily too, after the video paper, so she can send and post that too. But this is the white paper from this year of our clients who are having success using the different formats of learning. And I'll also share the video one with Emily as well on our research on video. Definitely, I want to be really attuned to the time, and we're close on time. We're going to have questions here in a few minutes. If you want to contact me for more information about learning, I love learning. It's my passion. You certainly can connect with me on LinkedIn. I have a podcast on Mind of a Champion. You can look me up on my website and email me. But certainly, I appreciate you all being here with me today and caring about education. It's the future, right? Learning is the future. So I'll pause. Does anyone have any questions specifically? I see some typing. And while you're getting the questions, I'm going to also get my, you bet. I'm going to get the other white paper. I'm going to put it in the chat for y'all so you can get the video white paper. That's a good one.
I'll definitely send that out to everyone as well for our post-webinar email that we send. While others are thinking of any questions that they have, I do have a few. So how do you reach different types of learners aside from the video content? Do you have any ideas on that?
Yeah, most definitely. So what we see with different generations or different types of learners is it's not only the type of content. So what I mean by that is, you can send out game-based content, you can send out PDF content, you can send out eNugget content, you can send out video content, but it's not just the content, but the ways that you interface with them with the content. So social learning is really important. So what we found in 2022 is that not a lot of fleets use social learning and learning together, so learner to learner engagement. But the reality is female drivers, female learners, younger generations, this idea of being connected, building a connected culture is so important, not only from a cognitive or memory standpoint, but also from a mental health standpoint. Social learning is critical. So thinking about, like I use the example, if you want to use video, how to use it in other ways to connect learners is so critical. And then the other thing too is not only thinking about the content and the different ways you present it, but the time. So what I mean by that is, like, are you delivering things all face-to-face in person? Are you delivering things online, all online? Are you doing both online and blended? So really considering the different formats, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. So that's really important too for different types of different generations and just different ways people prefer to learn.
Great. Well, thank you. We have reached our time. So if there are any other questions, feel free to reach out to either my team and we can get you in touch with Gina's team, or you can reach out directly to Gina's team. I would like to just talk about our partnership one more time. We are very excited about our integrated partnership with Luma with our DQM driver management software. If you'd like to learn some more information about DQM and our partnership, please feel free to visit our website and our partners page at dqmconnect.com. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and I definitely want to thank our guest speaker, Gina, for giving us some awesome information today.
You bet. Thank you so much.